When it comes to Pokemon battling, you'll almost always see people using fully evolved, legendary, or Pokemon that can't evolve but are also really good. And this makes sense because they are the most pristine of the bunch. They are the Pokemon that are obviously going to do the best in battles. However, I've been doing battles for over 2 years now, and if there's anything you should know about me, is that I like using the little guys. This means that I've used teams with Pokemon like Wingull, Psyduck, and Spewpa on them. Has anyone ever even thought of this Pokemon? And in today's video, I have multiple battles where unevolved Pokemon actually ended up being really amazing. I should also mention that while this is a compilation of my battles, none of these are battles that I've uploaded before. In fact, every single battle that I have in this video is completely new. Now I have 6 battles in this video that I would like to showcase featuring these unevolved Pokemon, and I really hope you enjoy them. Good morning, afternoon, and evening, lovely people. Today I have for you a compilation of some battles where I'm using unevolved Pokemon, because what can be better than trying to win with a team that has Pichu, Fido, and Meowth on it? Look at my team and look at my opponents. While these teams do feature Pokemon that are fully evolved, the main idea is to showcase the unevolved Pokemon that actually ended up being really good in these battles. And if you enjoy these types of videos, then please consider subscribing, because I specialize in using interesting teams featuring Pokemon that are never really seen in battles, and I would really appreciate it. It would help out my channel a lot. Now with that, let's get right into this first game. Okay, so right off the bat, I just want to say, I was playing out of my mind in this first game. I don't know what possessed me, but typically when I use these unevolved Pokemon, I kind of have to play to the best of my ability because I'm at such an advantage using what I'm using. So I'm going to lead off with my Politoed, and I'm going to swap right into my Fido against the Ambipom. This is a physically defensive Eviolite Fido, so it could get pretty bulky on the defensive side. The unfortunate thing is that I don't really have any offense whatsoever, but I do have Baton Pass on the set, which is really good for offering me some momentum into this Quagsire. Now into Pichu, oh my gosh. So this is a Choice Scarf Grass Knot Pichu that hits the Quagsire for 4 times super effective damage, and it does over half. Obviously Pichu, it being a baby, it's not really going to do a lot of damage even if it's a 4 times super effective Pokemon, but getting a bunch of chip damage on this really defensive Pokemon is always going to be really good. Now I made a double swap here into my Meowth, anticipating the opponent to want to swap out their Pokemon, and that's great because they ended up bringing in the Alola Ninetales, which I was definitely, you know, not happy to deal with, because that meant the opponent was going to set up the Aurora Veil, potentially. So I thought, well, first I'm going to go for the Fake Out just to get some chip, but then I'm going to go into my Politoed. This is going to allow me to change the snow into the rain, and if the Alola Ninetales goes for the Aurora Veil, which they do, it cancels the Aurora Veil. So this is really great. I'm at such a good advantage. The Alola Ninetales goes for the Freeze Dry. I'm running an Assault Vest, so that's going to allow me to tank that hit. And I'm a fully offensive Politoed. The Weather Ball is able to get rid of the Alola Ninetales. That is amazing. I do not have to deal with Aurora Veil. Thank goodness, because the team that I'm using would have really struggled versus that. So, bringing back in my Fido, unfortunately, the Stealth Rocks are set up, so I'm going to take some chip damage, and I don't have any way to remove hazards. So, the Ambipom is going to knock off my Eviolite. That's going to make me less bulky. I thought they might go for another U-turn, so I went for another Baton Pass. And I thought, well, the rain is up. I have my Psyduck. This is a Swift Swim Psyduck. I'm going to get double speed in the rain, and that just completely washes the Ambipom. Amazing KO. Now, because I'm running an Assault Vest, the rain is only going to last 5 turns. And as the Cyclizar comes in, they're going to be able to set up the free Shed Tail, which, yeah, I'm really worried about this thing because they have a Poltegeist in the back. And Poltegeist was like the biggest Pokemon that was like a super humongous threat into my team, because this Pokemon can set up a free Shell Smash, especially considering it has a substitute. But I had an idea. I have Manual Rain on this Psyduck, and that's going to allow me to outspeed thanks to my Swift Swim. It's going to easily break the substitute, but I thought this Poltegeist is definitely going to set up a Shell Smash, and it's going to get +2 speed. And obviously I'm a Psyduck, so Poltegeist is going to maybe outspeed me considering that it's faster, but depending on how they trained their Poltergeist, they might not be faster than me. I was thinking here that I most definitely lost at this point. Like, Psyduck did amazing, but like Poltergeist is just gonna Shell Smash sweep me and win. But I ended up outspeeding it. Oh my gosh, that is huge outspeed. The Swift Swim ended up helping. Also, the Poltergeist, I think it was maybe modest, or maybe it didn't really have much speed investment. If it's running that dastardly like Shell Smash Strength Sap set. But like, I was able to go for the Encore. That's gonna lock in the Poltergeist to the Shell Smash. Now I threaten it with the Hydro Pump. Oh my gosh, Quagsire comes in. I thought that this Quagsire might have been Water Absorb with the way it came in, but clearly it's unaware. I get a critical hit Hydro Pump. I don't think that mattered because it was still able to just completely destroy Quagsire. So Psyduck just absolutely saving me in this game. Now, they have the Beartic. This would have gotten a Slush Rush thanks to the Alola Ninetales, but I took that out, so I don't have to worry about this Pokemon getting a speed boost under snow. But they are going to Terrasilize. The Psyduck is going to force a Terra. They're actually Terra Electric, so I thought, yeah, this thing is going to definitely go for Terra Electric Terra Blast. And my Hello Kitty is going to say, it's going to become Goodbye Kitty, I guess. By the way, I didn't mention this. This is my Sanrio team. This team was really, really, really fun. I highly recommend the original video that I uploaded with this team because I had a lot of fun with this. Now, I'm going to swap in my Smeargle. Smeargle is faster than this. And I have a really, really interesting Smeargle set on this team. This is a Shell Smash Population Bomb Smeargle with the wide lens to get as much accuracy on Population Bomb, and I have Technician on this as my ability, and that's gonna further boost the power of Population Bomb. If you don't know me, I love Smeargle a lot. Actually, it's my favorite Johto Pokemon, and it's become like basically the mascot of my channel, and I really, really love being, whenever there's an opportunity for me to use Smeargle, you know I will jump on top of that opportunity. So I get a lot of crits. Look at that, I got 2 crits back to back. I'm pretty sure I got like 3 crits versus the Cyclizar. Crazy. That's gonna be enough to take it out. I had to go for the Terra Normal just so that I could get the clean KO versus the Beartic. And Poltergeist comes in, so I was like, there's an opportunity that this Pokemon could set up a Shell Smash, thinking that I might not have anything, considering that I've only revealed Population Bomb. So I'm gonna set up my own Shell Smash, and even if the Poltergeist doesn't set up a Shell Smash, I imagine that it only would have like Shadow Ball stored power and like maybe Terra Blast, or maybe it's running that Strength Sap set, considering that it couldn't outspeed my Psyduck. So as they set up the Shell Smash, I thought, you know, I actually do have something to hit this Poltergeist with. I have Power Trip on this set, and Power Trip works like stored power, where it gets plus 20 based on the stat boost that you get. So I have a 140 base Power Trip. That's gonna one-shot the Poltergeist. The last Pokemon is the Beartic, and I could easily go for a Population Bomb. I have other Pokemon to outspeed this as well, but they're gonna end up leaving the game, and that is a 5-0 victory with a Pokemon team that had freaking Pichu and like Fido on it. I could not be happier. That I played, like I said, I played completely out of my mind that game. I don't even know what, I can't even explain what even happened. Well, I will say that sometimes I have games where I just unlock, and sometimes I have games where I play not great at all. But that was one of those games where I did unlock. And if you're enjoying this video, please consider hitting the like button, because look at the teams that I'm using. I don't know if you'll see these teams anywhere else. You'll find that I use a lot of really interesting stuff like this. So let's see how this battle goes. So this time, my opponent is going to lead Cacturne, and I have the best lead ever in Joltik. This Pokemon does not get Sticky Webs, by the way. It's really sad. But I thought this is going to be an amazing opportunity for my Joltik to get a KO, considering that Cacturne is 4 times weak to Pounce, and I'm running a terrible physical set on this Joltik. So they go for the Spiky Shield. I take some recoil damage from that, unfortunately, and the Sucker Punch hits me, but I'm just able to tank it. But Pounce doesn't even KO the Cacturne. It's a 4 times effective move. Joltik, his attack is so bad. Now, they go for the Spiky Shield, and I go for the Screech, predicting that, and I thought, this is actually ideal because I haven't revealed Sucker Punch on this set, and considering that the Cacturne had Sucker Punch, they might go for that, and that's amazing because I get a KO on the Cacturne. I actually ended up getting a KO with Joltik. That That is unbelievable. So, the Rever Room comes in. I'm just going to go for the Wild Charge. That's going to take myself out, unfortunately. But I do some, well, as much damage as I possibly could versus this. And this is a little unfortunate. So, I bring in my Poltergeist here. Now, the Rever Room went for the Temper Flare last turn, and it actually failed, which meant that the Temper Flare this turn was able to do double damage. Unfortunately, I don't get a Scald Burn on my Poltergeist. This is like a defensive Poltergeist, so I was able to get 2-shot by the Temper Flare. That was really unfortunate, honestly. I wasn't really anticipating that they would still get the double base power boost from Temper Flare. So they're going to set up the Shift Gear. I thought, well, this is fine, because, well, it's funny, because in the last battle, there was a Shell Smash Poltergeist. This time, I'm running a Shell Smash Sinistea, the pre-evolution, which is not as good, but it can still be really solid after a Shell Smash boost. And the Rever Room goes for the Iron Head. That's going to put me down to 1 HP. I'm running a Focus Sash on the set, and I'm also running Weak Armor on this to further boost my speed. And I'm running Shell Smash with Shadow Ball, Stored Power, and Terra Blast Fighting on the set. So going for the Shadow Ball, that's going to be enough to take out the Rever Room. And I am in a really, really good position because I think my Stored Power is base 180 power right now. I thought Darkspawn would have been able to live that, but Darkspawn gets 1-shot. I was like, this is amazing. I'm in such a good position. Now, to explain this turn, I went for the Stored Power because, okay, first of all, I thought that, they would have terrestrialized their Armarouge considering that they saw Shadow Ball, and I would have gotten the Stored Power on the Terra, but considering that, they just brung this in, I want to guess and say that they might have been Focus Sash. That's what I'm telling myself to make up for that play. I'm telling myself that. So, they're just going to go for the Flamethrower. Now the Armarouge is going to decide to Terra. And I have my specially defensive Flabébé here. Now, if there's anything you should know about Florges, is that Florges is a Pokemon that is very, very specially defensive. It's the final evolution of Flabébé. And so, Flabébé, with its base stats, I was able to tank that Terrifier Flamethrower, and I get off a Calm Mind. This Pokemon has base 79 special defense and 44 HP. So, with an Eviolite, it can get pretty tanky on the specially defensive side. I'm just able to take that Terrifier Flamethrower after a Calm Mind boost, and I have Synthesis on the set as my recovery. Now, this is a really interesting set. Seeing as though the U-turn from the Cutiefly didn't activate Weak Armor or anything, this Armarouge is running Flash Fire, so I can't go for the copycat Flamethrower on this just because it'll give it a freaking Flash Fire boost, and I don't want to power up this Fire type's moves even more. This Pokemon is also really threatening, and I really need to get rid of it. So I'm just gonna heal off and set up as many Calm Minds as possible. They got off a freaking critical hit. I'm like, this Pokemon has actually gotten multiple crits against me. I really, really need to get rid of this Pokemon. So I'm setting up another Calm Mind. I just want to get to the point where I could do some solid damage with Moonblast and be able to take out this Armarouge, because Comfey is like the only Pokemon in the back that is like my best Pokemon and my reliable win condition in like all the battles that I have with this smallest Pokemon team. So I just ended up taking out the Armarouge with the Moonblast, but the Annihilate is just gonna revenge KO me with the Earthquake. So Flabébé was still instrumental in taking out the Armarouge. I can't believe Flabébé 1v1 that Pokemon. I can't believe I didn't just go for Shadow Ball with Sinistea, but again, I thought they Terra, or that they were like Focus Sash with like Weak Armor potentially. So I'm gonna bring in my second Calm Minding Fairy type on this team. This is a defensive Keyberry Comfey. Now, again, this is another Calm Minding Comfey. This is another Calm Minding set, and this Pokemon gets Triage, which grants it priority to its healing move. It's a really, really, really good ability. And I'm running Draining Kiss Synthesis on this set, and I'm also running oh my gosh, what's the last move on this set? I completely forgot. Oh, it's Stored Power. Oh my gosh. So I really needed to set up as much as possible versus this Annihilate, just because of the fact that Annihilate can be a very, very tanky Pokemon, and I don't want this Pokemon going for boosted Rage Fists against me, so I'm just going to go for as many Calm Minds as I possibly can before going for the Drain Kiss, making sure that it's a clean 2-hit KO against the Annihilate. And I also want to set up a lot of stored powers as well. Well, I want to set up for my stored power just so that I could be able to get a clean, like, 2-hit KO versus the Dragalge in the back. So, I thought that the Annihilate might have been choiced, but they ended up going for the Rage Fist, of course, when I attack them. And I'm going to be able to take them out, and I'm almost at full HP as well. So, the last Pokemon is the Dragalge, and I have Terra Poison on this set. This is just in case stored power doesn't take out the Dragalge, considering that this Pokemon is also very specially defensive. And my stored power, I believe, is at 20, 40, 60, 80. I believe it's at like over 100. I can't do quick math right now, but I take out the Dragalge with 1 stored power, and that's the end of that second game. Honestly, I was really proud of Joltik for getting that Pounce KO on the 4-time super effective Cacturn. I was really proud of Flabebe. Flabebe was honestly such a surprising Pokemon on this team. Now, those two teams were fairly recent. This is a team that I haven't uploaded since 2 years ago, I want to say. So this team is definitely pretty ancient. And I won't say what this team is. You'll just have to see the nicknames and find out for yourself. But I'm using a Duskull on this team. And my opponent's team is definitely very, very threatening. Let's see how this battle goes. So this time, my opponent is going to lead off with the Golden Go. And I have my Ariados lead. Now, this is basically just a Sticky Web lead Ariados. They unfortunately have Power Gem, but that's just going to take me down to my Focus Sash. So I thought, well, as long as I'm able to set up the Sticky Webs, I should be fine, considering that they have no way to remove the Sticky Webs, and getting the speed drop on their team is always going to be beneficial. So, Power Gem is going to be enough to take on my Ariados. I think that Ariados was a very juvenile set, considering that, considering the team that I'm using. So, I'm going to outspeed with my Meowscarada. This is a really interesting Meowscarada set, and Knockoff is going to be able to take out the Golden Go. And I knock off its Choice Spec, so that's nice. So, Garganacl comes in. This is really interesting, because I thought that maybe they thought that I was like Choice, maybe like Choice Bandit or Choice Scarf, which typically Meowscarada is, but I surprised them with a Flower Trick. That absolutely one-shots the Garganacl, by the way. Oh my gosh, this Meowscarada is crazy. Now, I'm running Overgrow on this Meowscarada because I'm running a weakness policy set with Endure on this. So, I'm going to go for the knockoff here. I'm going to knock off this Baxcalibur's Loaded Dice, and I thought, well, this would be really interesting if it only ended up getting 2 hits, because I could take 2 hits, and then I could get off a weakness policy boost. But, well, maybe the Baxcalibur would have been running Ice Shard potentially for priority anyway. But I thought it would be really interesting if I lived the 2 hits. Unfortunately, it gets more than 2 hits, so my Meowscarada is going to get taken out by that. But, you know, I thought it's really nice getting rid of this Pokemon's Loaded Dice. It's also on a low amount so that my Primarina can come in and outspeed thanks to the Sticky Web. I'm running a standard Assault Vest on this Primarina. Like, I'm running like way better Pokemon on this team than I normally do. So, they have their own Meowscarada coming in, and I thought, yeah, I obviously don't want to stay in on a grass move on this thing. So, I'm just going to go into my Sawsbuck. I'm not running Sap Sipper on this. This is actually a special Sawsbuck. This is a Choice Specs Sawsbuck. So, I get hit by the Flower Trick, doesn't do too much damage. Now, this Pokemon special attack, look at that, I don't really do much to it. I mean, I do have over half, which is nice, but like, obviously Sawsbuck is not really like proficient in special attack, is more of an attacker. But I have a Terra Blast, Hyper Beam, Energy Ball, and Shadow Ball with Terra Fire on this. So as the Tauros comes in, I thought, you know what, I'm just going to go for another Terra Blast just to get some chip damage on this thing. And I actually end up doing a lot of damage. Perhaps I underestimated my own Sawsbuck. I'm going to get punched in the face though, and that's easily going to take out my Sawsbuck. But I thought, you know, if I have anything to handle defensive, if I have anything defensive to handle physical attackers like this, it's this Duskull. So Aqua Jet just, I barely even feel that. It's because I'm a Ghost type. And Nightshade is going to take out the Tauros. Now this is a fully physically defensive Duskull. Even though it has a very, very low HP stat, it has base 90 defense. And with the Eviolite, look at that. I was able to take the Shadow Claw from the Mimikyu and its Life Orb too. And I'm going to go for the Will-O-Wisp, get off the Burn versus the Mimikyu, and that's going to have its attack, meaning that I could tank the physical moves from this thing better. I thought that this might have gone for maybe like a Swords Dance, or if they had Swords Dance, that they might go for it, but they continuously go for the Shadow Claw. I don't get crit by that either, and I was able to take it really well. I'm going to go for the Pain Split and get off some great recovery. Pain Split is also good for the set, considering that Duskull has a very low HP, and Pain Split averages the opponent's HP with yours, and that's really, really good for a Pokemon with not as good as HP as Duskull. So, Mimikyu is going to opt to Terrasilize. This is their final Pokemon, so I imagine that the Terra will be coming eventually, but I thought that was a sign that they would go for a Terra Fairy Play Rough, which is really nice because I went for Terra Poison. This is a Terra Poison Duskull to avoid like Toxic Poison or just Poison in general. Also, with Levitate, I don't have a ground weakness either. I'm only weak to Psychic. So, I'm going to go for the Nightshade. That's going to bust the Mimikyu's Disguise. And that's also going to like chip its HP, and with the burn damage I should have enough to take it out with the next Nightshade. So this is a Will-O-Wisp, Pain Split, Nightshade, disable Duskull as my last move, so I can disable the last move the opponent goes for. And as they take more Life Orb chip damage, the next Nightshade is going to be able to take out the Mimikyu. I was so proud of that game, considering that Duskull ended up being an amazing Pokemon to like take. Like this Pokemon can take like crazy hits. I think it can take like a +2 Quaxclaval's like Aqua Step. It could take some really unexpected physical hits. It's such a bulky Pokemon. I really like Duskull as well, so I'm glad I was able to make that Pokemon work. Now we are halfway through this video, and I just want to say, if you've watched this far, I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for watching this far. Again, if you haven't liked the video, I would really appreciate it. And this is a really, really weird game. I will say that much. I'm using my Skylanders team this time, and I haven't uploaded with this team in a long time. So again, I got some battles from the vault to showcase in this video. And like I said, this game was definitely something. It's a short game, and well, you just see for yourself. So, my opponent is going to lead with the Tinkaton, and I know that this Pokemon might set up like Stealth Rocks or something, so I'm just going to lead off with my Groudon. Now, this is a really interesting Groudon set. Based on the nickname, I'm only running Choice Scarf Eruption on this. The Tinkaton does go for the Fake Out, which does flinch me, but my Groudon is just going to be able to outspeed, and wow, Eruption just completely just annihilates the Tinkaton, so that's good. Now they're gonna bring in the Koraidon, and this is where things got really, really interesting. So I'm gonna swap out my Groudon. Not sure what this Koraidon's gonna do. So honestly, I was just gonna use my Spewpa to sacrifice it, but they end up going for the Drain Punch. Now this Spewpa is very, very, very bulky on the defensive side. So I thought, well, I might as well go for the Protect, stall out this Pokemon Sun, which I set up, but it gets an Orichalcum boost in the Sun, so I thought stalling out this Pokemon's power in the Sun would be really ideal. So they end up going for the Dragon Claw, so I thought, well, I'm just gonna get taken out by that, whatever. But they end up going for Iron Head, and their Life Orb, look at how well I tanked that hit, and the Stun Spore is gonna hit the Koraidon. They get paralyzed. I was like, this is a dream. Now they're paralyzed. My Charizard can outspeed and threaten it with an Air Slash. I have like my Murkrow with a Hurricane. The Sun is gone. This is really good. They end up leaving. What? I can't believe that. The Spewpa ended up causing them to just leave. What? I'm not gonna lie. That was one of the most bizarre endings I've ever had to a battle. I hope you enjoyed that really quick one. I still can't believe Spewpa caused that. I also had a battle where someone left versus a Lechonk, which is crazy. Nothing wrong with forfeiting, by the way, but if it's that early on in the game, and if it's versus a Spewpa, then come on, you have to at least play the battle out, surely, right? Anyway, we're back to the exclusively non-fully evolved kind of team here. This is my Littlest Pet Shop team, which I honestly highly recommend you watch because I had so much fun with this team. And considering the Pokemon that I'm using, I'm at a super disadvantage, especially looking at my opponent's team when they have such bulky threats. They have dual screens potential with Grimmsnarl. They have a freaking Chansey. They have Chi-Yu. Basculegion could potentially go for last respects. I know I'm in for a struggle here, but let's see how this game shakes up at the very least. Now, I do have a Breloom. That is definitely the best Pokemon on this team, and definitely the Pokemon that I want to try to see if I could do, like, if I could get a sweep with. So, Chi-Yu is going to lead off. They're going to go immediately for a Flamethrower, and this is really ideal because I'm running a Focus Sash Mankey, and on top of that, I have Reversal on the set, which is going to be 200 base power because I'm on 1 HP. That just one-shots Chi-Yu. What a great turn one. That was such a big threat that my team really couldn't handle, so thank goodness for Mankey. So, they go for the Reflect. This turn I went for the taunt just to deny this Grimmsnarl for going for multiple screens. In hindsight, I probably should have just gone for 2 reversals, because even behind the reflect, 2 reversals was going to do some really good damage to this Grimmsnarl. They are just going to take me out with the Spirit Break, but I thought, Mankey, you did amazing in that game. So, bringing in my Volbeat. This is actually a Choice Specs Volbeat. So, as they bring in the Chansey, I'm just going to go for the Bug Buzz. It just does nothing. Chansey is so... This is actually an unevolved Pokemon that is actually, like, really good, considering that with the Violet, it could get bulky on the defensive and especially defensive side. Unfortunately, the Chansey also sets up the Stealth Rocks, and my team does not have a way to remove those, so that's unfortunate. Interestingly, the Chansey swaps though. They're going to swap back into the Grimmsnarl. I just went for the Thunder Wave just because I have an Endeavor on the set, and because Chansey has such a high HP stat, Endeavor, because I'm a Mareep, it would have been doing really solid damage. It probably would have taken the Chansey like to a third of its HP because of how much HP it has versus how little Mareep has. So I'm able to get off a really powerful Thunderbolt on the Grimmsnarl because it gets fully paralyzed. Unfortunately, it is able to set up the light screen, so Thunderbolt is not going to do as much, but the Grimmsnarl is now at red HP, which is really good. Now I'm going to bring in my Score Bunny here. I thought that the Grimmsnarl would have gone for like a Spirit Break, but they go for Reflect, which might have been a mistake. So now the Reflect is going to run out, and they go for the Parting Shot, which is really unfortunate considering that this Score Bunny set is like an Endure Lychee Berry set with Blaze as the ability. So I'm going to go for the Flame Charge. Heracross comes in. I thought this is really good. I get off some super effective Flame Charge damage, and it's also Guts on the Heracross as well. So I thought, well, if they go for any attacking move, I'm going to Endure, put myself on 1 HP, activate my Lychee Berry. Unfortunately, they go for the knockoff. That knocks off my freaking Lychee Berry. I don't get an attack boost, but I'm now in Blaze, which is going to boost the power of my Flame Charge. And Flame Charge does some great damage to the Heracross. It just misses the KO. But as the Heracross KOs me with the Trailblaze, it's burned, which means that it's going to take itself out with the burn damage. So the Score Bunny actually ended up helping me out with the Heracross, despite the fact that I got -1 in attack. So that was really, really good. So they have this Basculegion, and this Pokemon is a gigantic threat. And they also have like Pokemon like Weezing as a defensive answer for my Breloom. So I have my Choice Scarf Wingull here. Unfortunately, I missed my Hurricane. I wanted to get off as much damage on this as possible. And worse so, this Basculegion is going to set up an Agility. So now this Pokemon outspeeds my entire team. And I assume it has adaptability. It's going to do some strong damage into all of my Pokemon. So I'm really in a tough spot here. So I'm going to bring in my Volbeat. Now, I went for the Trick this turn. And the reason that I did that was because I thought, okay, if this is a weakness policy Basculegion, which it is, I do have Thunder on this set, and I don't want to go for that and like activate this Pokemon's weakness policy, considering that it wouldn't do much, considering that the light screen is up. Well, now it's not up anymore, but it would have been up, and I would have lost from that position, right? So I do give this Pokemon a Choice Specs, but at the same time, it's going to be locked into Surf, and I can bring in my Breloom. My Breloom does have a chance to live the Surf as well, so I'm just going to go for the Bullet Seed on the off chance that they do decide to stay in, but they end up swapping into the Weezing, which is going to be physically defensive and a problem. So I thought, well, Bullet Seed is still doing a lot of damage to this Weezing. I am Technician on this Breloom. This is a loaded dice Bullet Seed set. Again, this is the best Pokemon on my team. I pretty much had to run a standard set on this, considering that I'm using Mareep, for example. So I know that this Weezing is going to go for the Will-O-Wisp, and I really, really don't want my Breloom getting burned. It's my last line of defense, and also at the same time, my Mareep is actually a Pokemon that I value in this matchup because it could do the most damage versus the Weezing. Crazy sentence. So I thought, well, this turn I'm just going to go for the Thunderbolt. Weezing stays in. This was a big turn. The Weezing sets up the Toxic Spikes. I was like, wait, that's ideal, because my Breloom is going to get poisoned, which is not great, but that means that my Breloom is not going to get burnt. And also, I was able to get off some solid damage with the Mareep's Thunderbolt. I'm saying all kinds of sentences that no one has ever said. So as Chansey comes in, it's obviously going to take nothing from Thunderbolt, but I get the paralysis on it. Now I know that Chansey had the chance of it has a chance of having natural cure, so the paralysis might not matter anyway, but like I said, the Endeavor is gonna put this Pokemon on a very low amount of HP. Plus my Breloom always threatens this with a super effective Mach Punch as well. So I thought, well, they're most likely gonna go for the Soft Boil, try to heal themselves up. So if they do that, I'm just gonna go into my Breloom, and this is gonna give me the opportunity to set up a free Swords Dance. Actually, the Chansey ends up getting paralyzed, so that's even better for me. If they went for the Seismic Toss, I would have taken like more chip damage plus the poison. So that's good that they got fully paralyzed. Now the Chansey's gonna swap. Obviously they're fearing any kind of physical move, and Wheezing comes in. And this Wheezing is not neutralizing gas, so that's really good. That means that they're Levitate, and that also means my Technician is still gonna be active. And at this point I'm now relying on my Loaded Dice Bullet Seed to hopefully, after a Swords Dance boost, be enough to take out Wheezing. Wheezing is very defensive, so it's a lot to ask, but Breloom has a lot of high attack, and I'm really relying on my Loaded Dice to, at the very least, have Bullet Seed hit 5 times. So I'm going to go for the Terra Steel, just in case Bullet Seed doesn't take it out. I'll be immune to Sludge Bomb if the Wheezing goes for it. So I get off the second hit with the Bullet Seed. I'm like, please take out this Wheezing. This Wheezing is a huge road stop into me. I get the 4th Bullet Seed hit. It's on 1 HP. And I get the 5th hit. Huge. And I was able to take out the Wheezing. The Mareep helped me with the Thunderbolt. And the Wheezing goes down. And they have the Grimmsnarl, which does have Prankster screens. But since I'm faster, I could go for the Mach Punch. And also the Grimmsnarl is paralyzed. But I could go for the Mach Punch. And I could outspeed them. They can't set up any screens. There goes the Grimmsnarl. And their last 2 Pokemon are the Basculegion and the Chansey. Chansey has no chance. And Basculegion, I was worried about this Pokemon terrestrializing, so I went for the Spore just to cover any Terras. Like if they went for Terra Steel on like my they could resist the Bullet Seed and potentially tank the hit and then KO me with Surf. But I'm just gonna put them to sleep, and they don't actually end up terrestrializing. So I'm just gonna go for the Bullet Seed. Maybe they're Terra Water to further boost their adaptability, but they end up canceling the battle. My Breloom is able to really win in that game. That was looking really grim as well, just because it was down 2-4 and I had a Mareep, and oh my gosh, that was such a crazy game too. Finally, we have the 6th game in this video, and this is my Amphibia team, which is also a team that I haven't uploaded in almost 2 years. And normally I don't upload battles like this where my opponent is just using mono legendary spam, but in a game like this, especially for a video like this, I had to end off the video with a battle like this. This battle was just, you see for yourself, this battle was crazy. So my opponent is going to go straight ahead and lead off with the Kyurem Black. Oh joy, this Pokemon is such a threat into me. Now I have another Politoed on this team, and this Politoed is actually Damp Rock, so you know, I'm actually making use of the rain with this set. I thought that I would outspeed them going for like a turn 1 Dragon Dance, but no, I actually outsped, and they do end up going for the Dragon Dance. So I was like, ay. So I imagine that a Fusion Bolt is gonna be incoming, so I immediately opted to terrestrialize my Politoed here into Terra Dragon so that I could resist this hit to the best of my ability. Obviously Kyurem Black is a menace and it has a lot of attack, but they end up going for another Dragon Dance. This Kyurem Black is getting cocky, so I was like, you know what, that's really good. I went for another Encore just in case, and that's going to lock in the Kyurem Black to the Dragon Dance. So I was like, you know what, I have a perfect opportunity here. I have my Poliwag. So Poliwag, this is a Belly Drum Poliwag, and I have Swift Swim on this, which is going to grant me double speed. Kyurem Black is just going to continue to sit here and spam Dragon Dance. I understand what they're going through. Like, they see a Poliwag, they're like, this Pokemon is like not a threat whatsoever, right? Like, what could Poliwag possibly do? But little do they know I have some coverage to deal with this. So I get off my Citrus Berry. They're going to continuously go for the Dragon Dance. They're Encore for one more turn after this. So they probably think that they could take like a +6 water move in the rain from my Poliwag, which is why they stay in and continuously go for a Dragon Dance. But this Poliwag is running low kick on this set. I have low kick, and Cura Black gets one shot by low kick. The belly drum boosted low kick just takes out the Cura. The next Pokemon is Deoxys, so I was like, okay, well, this Pokemon is going to be like Sash. It's going to go for the extreme speed. There goes my sweep. But as I go for the liquidation, freaking Deoxys gets taken out. I was like, oh my gosh, I think I have myself a Poliwag sweep. Hoopa Unbound comes in. This Pokemon has like no defense. So I know liquidation is going to take out this Pokemon. And they end up canceling. Oh my gosh, I just got I'm counting that as a Poliwag sweep. That's unbelievable. Oh my gosh. I hope you all enjoyed these crazy battles like this. Please like the video if you haven't already. My name is SkyLaaa. Don't forget to smile, and I will see you all next time.